Hi, Cameron.
Hey there, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'm a nursing student here at MSU, and today we're going to be doing a Denham Family Health Model assessment.
Sounds good.
Sounds good? Okay. I'm just going to ask you some questions, and we'll go from there.
Sure, alright.
Alright, Cameron, who makes up your family?
Well, we got my mom, my dad, of course, and I have two siblings, which is my brother and my sister, each of which who are married to their own respective spouses, and my sister has 3 kids, and my brother has 4.
That's great.
That's my family.
Okay. How are your relationships with your family?
I think everyone's a little different. My brother and me, more like, friends, but my mom and me are close with a nice mother-son bond. I like to tell her things, and my dad always kind of put me in shape and made me the guy I am.
Okay. What type of educational levels does your family have?
Both my parents have a college degree, as do my siblings, so that's always kind of been expected of me.
Okay. What are some type of things that you and your family like to do?
Well, my dad and brother and me always like to go golfing together. Always been a nice family event. My mom and me, we don't have too much in common, but just hanging around the pool or doing yard work with her is kind of what we like to do on the usual basis.
Sounds like a fun type of family you guys got there. What type of roles do each family member bring to the table?
Well, I'd say my dad is certainly kind of the enforcer, kind of enforces the rules, although my mom and him both make them together. My sister is, always the second person I can go to if something's wrong. And my brother, just a guy I can hang out with. So, and me, I kind of tie them all together. So I'd say that's about our roles.
Okay. Who is the communicator in the family, or who do you think communicates the most or the least in your family?
Yeah, I'd say that we have a hard time communicating at times, but my mom certainly likes to share her feelings, and whatever she's feeling, she lets us know. My dad, on the other hand, would probably be the worst communicator, just because he doesn't like to talk about it.
Okay. How do you describe your family as a whole?
As a whole, I'd say that we are very functional together. We all kind of work well together. I think with my 2 older siblings really worked out well for me because they kind of set my path for me. I didn't have to go off in the darkness. So yeah, as a whole, I think we work great.
Okay. Do you have any family traditions that you guys like to celebrate?
Just, the typical holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas. Other than that, we love birthdays. With all the 7 nieces and nephews now, it's hard to get away from each other. That's a big tradition.
Okay. It seems like your family gets along pretty well with each other, and that's obviously a great sign. Do you consider your family to be pretty healthy then?
Yeah, absolutely. Every aspect of health. Right now, we haven't been dealing with any major illnesses, and yeah, everything works out pretty well.
Okay. What city does your family live in?
Well, my mother and father have lived in St. Michael, Albertville for the last 25 or so years, so that is where I grew up. My sister lives not too far away in St. Michael. She just got her house about 5 years ago. And my brother just recently moved to Chaska a couple years ago. And I currently reside in Mankato.
So you reside in Mankato because you're a college student?
Absolutely.
And you said your parents have lived in Albertville, St. Michael's for the last about 25 years. So you've grown up there your whole life?
Yes.
Does your extended family live nearby at all?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the farthest one is probably, no more than a couple hours away, so yeah, they're all around the surrounding area.
How would you describe the type of environment that you live in?
The one in Mankato or at home?
The one at home.
My home environment is certainly different than Mankato. It's got more of a community feel with more of an aged population, but it's fun. I like to go home for the Friendly City Days, which is just the community-wide festival fair thing, so Mankato has its benefits too, being the college town, but I do like the home environment. Between
the 2 different cities that you've lived in, which one do you feel safer in?
I would choose my hometown for sure. Like I said, just with the more aged population, there's not a lot of crime or anything to worry about on that front, so I'd choose home.
Okay. I say you're about 21 years old.
Correct.
What year were you born in?
1992.
Okay. Who makes up your social circle? Is it your family, friends, your girlfriend?
Social circle? Probably not my family, not so much. It'd be more so my friends in Mankato and my friends at home. I think there's a pretty strong divide between my high school friends and college friends, but my girlfriend is somewhere in between there, now that she's both. But yeah, that's mostly my social circle.
Awesome. Do you feel that you interact more with your friends than your family?
I probably interact with them both the same, but, I interact differently, for sure, between them. They see a different side of me.
Okay. So that seems pretty equal, I guess, friends and family, and you balance them pretty well. If you had to pick one person, who do you think you talk to the most, and why?
Oh, I think it'd be my girlfriend, for sure. Not because it's easier than my family, but I think just for time, she's here in Mankato with me, so I obviously communicate with her more.
Okay. What is your house like in the one that you grew up with?
Typical, 6-7 bedroom house. Big yard, a lot of neighbors, on a lake. Kind of just a little fairy tale house, kind of.
What is your apartment like here in Mankato?
Oh, it's like a dump right now. It's got like 5 bedrooms and like no square feet, so it's just basically a living quarters for 5 guys to trash the place.
So amongst your family that live back at home and your home in Mankato, do you feel like you have enough privacy and enough space for yourself?
I think so. I don't need a lot of privacy. I'm not a very private person, but having my own room for sure, as opposed to freshman year living in the dorms where I'd say there's no privacy. Yeah, to that extent, I would have a lot of privacy.
Okay. And you did mention back in your hometown that it's more of older adults that live around you and stuff like that. What is your neighborhood like?
Very old. Halloween comes around. There's not too many trick-or-treaters anymore. But, I wouldn't ask for anything differently. We've had our neighbors for quite a long time. I don't think anyone's moved away in the last 15 years, so it's a pretty tight-knit community on its own.
Okay, so it seems pretty peaceful and quiet and doesn't get rowdy or noisy or anything like that.
No.
Based on your community, how accessible are hospitals and clinics and stores like that are available?
Very available. We're kind of on the outskirt of the town, so they're not within walking distance, but everyone has a car in my family. Hospitals within 15 minutes, as of all the other clinics and stores that are needed.
Okay. What was your schooling like when you grew up?
I had a pretty big school, I think, just from who I talked to. I graduated with around 400 people. There's schools that have a lot more than that, but there's certainly some that have a lot less. But it was a competitive school, very into sports. Everyone seemed to get along. They were very structured well and well disciplined. So that's probably my school life.
Okay. Are you currently working as of right now?
Not right now. I'm not employed.
Okay. So it seems to me that you and your family have a great relationship. It's pretty strong. How would you say your relationship is with your extended family?
It's not as strong, but I certainly see them on all the holidays. We get along. So relationship-wise, I'd say is good. But, it could probably be better with a few more phone calls here or there.
Okay. And your parents do have a college education level, and obviously they're working.
Correct.
Where do they work?
My mother works as a nurse right now at North Memorial Robbinsdale. My dad is a paramedic. So they kind of put me on kind of the medical path, but I had to choose that as well.
Okay. Moving forward, do your parents have a strong connection with their coworkers that they work for or work with?
My dad certainly does. Being a paramedic, he sits in a car all day with some guy, so of course they got to get along. And my mom certainly gets along just as well with hers, but I think my dad, they're more like best friends. So.
And do you find that pretty important then?
Yeah, I would love to have a job like that.
Okay. How would you describe your family's culture?
Culture-wise, not very strong. We celebrate the Christmas with our culture and the Thanksgiving, but other than those things, it's not one of our most important issues that we deal with.
Okay, and your family has pretty stable jobs,
Correct.
from what I assume. Do you find that your socioeconomic status is pretty adequate?
Absolutely, yes.
Has your family ever had to move in your lifetime?
No, not in my lifetime. They have not.
Okay, have you ever experienced losing a family member or an extended family member due to a death or illness?
Yes, when I was about 9 or 10, I lost my grandpa. So, I guess I wasn't old enough to truly understand what was happening, but I could tell that it did affect my family to a pretty great extent.
Okay, moving forward, how does your family display the type of care that they have for each other?
Well, I think my mom shows it the best, with the hugs and telling you that she cares for you, but it's more the little things with my dad, maybe a pat on the back here or there, just saying good job, can mean a lot. So, I think they show the care when I show I need it.
Okay. And who do you feel like that you have the strongest bond with in your family?
It's tough, it'd either be my mom or my brother. Growing up, I think I always looked up to him. Him being a nurse, kind of wanted to do the same thing, so I think I do have a pretty strong bond with him.
That's great. And do you ever feel like you've had like a weaker bond with maybe your sister or your dad or anything?
Absolutely. My sister is 34, so she is almost more of a mother to me than a sister. She always kind of has been. She always kind of more looked out for me more than kind of be my friend. So yeah.
So you being a 21-year-old, have you ever observed any like family changes that have occurred in your lifetime?
I'd say the biggest one was certainly when I left for college, because it turned my parents into kind of the empty nesters type, and I can kind of tell they go stir crazy sitting at home together, because I would too with my father. But, that is the biggest change. They like to come visit me more often, and I think we are closer through the whole thing.
That's great to hear. Do you feel like your family adapted to the change quite well?
Yeah, absolutely. I think they knew the role was coming, so they adapted well.
What is the best way that you and your family communicate?
As of right now, it would certainly be through phone calls. But, you can't beat being in person talking to them. It's easier to get the point across. But either one is great. We communicate pretty well.
And do you feel... Okay, so do you think you guys communicate pretty well then?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I know that you said you and your family like to celebrate the holidays and stuff. What other type of things do you and your family celebrate, if you guys do any of the other stuff? Could it be like birthdays or stuff like that?
Certainly birthdays. Celebrations, nothing, not so much. The first, nice day in the summer, we like to go out and golf. That's something that we've always done throughout the years, but that's probably the extent of that.
Is that more of like a tradition, you would say, doing like the golf thing?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Is your family connected to the school, the community, or the church?
The church to an extent, more so growing up, and all the kids were getting their first communions and baptized and things like that. But no, I wouldn't say they're too connected right now.
Right. How does your family coordinate like family time? When you guys try to get everyone together, such as like your brothers and your sisters, considering they both live somewhere elsewhere and have their own house, how do you guys coordinate that to get together?
I think the best example of that would be 4th of July. My family likes to throw a big party at our house just because we got the lake and the pool. It's really the only time of the year where I'll see everyone in my extended family. So, yeah, that's a good example of that.
Okay. Moving forward, this is kind of more involved just about you. Do you ever feel like you're limited to any activities of daily living?
No, not so much. I think I have it pretty easy. Got a shower every day, and I got food always in my fridge, and yeah, I think my activities of daily living are well adequate.
So if you had to rank that on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the weakest and 10 being the strongest, how well do you think you'd take care of yourself?
Take care of myself?
Yeah.
I'd say an 8. Strong 8.
Have you ever been concerned about your safety at all?
My safety? Not so much. I've always felt kind of safe in the towns I lived in.
Okay. In case of an emergency, does your family have any type of an emergency plan in case something seriously did happen?
No, not at all.
Not
I'd
at
say
all?
as a kid they kind of said like if there's a fire in the house, just run as fast as you can. But
Right.
that's how we did there.
Yeah, my family too. So, is anyone in your family mentally ill?
No, not that I know of.
Okay. How does your family take care of each other if one was sick?
I'd say just being there. You know, what they don't really have to be there physically, but just letting them know that if they need anything, they're just a phone call away, or you know, if they do need to be there, they'd be there in a heartbeat. That's something I always feel is true.
Okay. And if you ever needed to seek medical attention, do you have access to that? Or would you
Yes.
go and do that too?
Absolutely.
Okay. Finishing up here, we're going to wrap it up. What are some family values that your family has on health?
On health, certainly take care of yourself. You only got one body, so I think that's something my mom always wanted to incorporate with me, and that, you know, treat it right, don't smoke, don't do drugs. Never told me not to drink, but she certainly told me not to drink too much.
Right. I think every parent has a concern about that as their child gets older and get involved with that type of stuff. How does your family include health into their lives if they have such a strong value on being healthy?
I'd say, you know, my mom being a nurse, my dad being a paramedic, they've always been more of the safety health aspect, not wanting me to go jump from trees and stuff like that. But, you know, eating healthy as of recently is something that my family, or my mom, has gotten into, and something that I like to see her do and she likes to see me do. So I'd say that's the best example.
Great. Well, Cameron, that wraps it up today for the Denham Family Health Model.
Well,
I'd like to thank you for your time.
Absolutely.
Thank you.